Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the stereoscopy. Okay, so let us see what is meant by stereoscopy. Stereoscopy is sometimes called as stereoscopic imaging. Okay, so it is a technique used to enable a three-dimensional effect, adding a illusion of depth to a flat image. Right. So, for example, we can see that with our two eyes, right? So we are going to see some image, right? Some object, right? So if we are looking into the object, right? So the rays which are coming from our eyes is going to tell, or we can see that the three dimension of that particular object, and from 3D we are going to tell approximately what is the height of that, right? We are going to compare, right? So with the two images from this eyes, okay? Same thing in the case of aerial photogrammetry. Two photographs will be taken over same place. By interpreting those two photos, we are going to estimate what is the height of the image, right? So object, right? So that's what it is, a technique used to enable three-dimensional effect, right? So we are going to enable the 3D effect, adding an illusion of depth to the flat image. Okay, if you took flat image and we are going to say what is the height of that particular depth of the particular object. Okay, so in aerial photography, when two photographs overlap or same ground area is photographed from the two separate positions forms a stereo pair used for three-dimensional viewing. In the aerial photogrammetry, what we are going to do now? We are going to use the two photographs overlap of the same ground area, right? Same ground area, we are going to make it overlap, right? So from photograph from a two separate positions, okay, two photographs from the two positions, but the same ground area is going to overlap. That is called a stereo pair. It is used to use it for three-dimensional viewing. Thus, obtaining a pair of stereoscopic photographs or images can be viewed with a stereoscopically, right? So, if you are taking images from the two locations, right, from the same ground area, by overlapping that, we are going to form the 3D image that is called stereoscopy, right? So here the stereoscope facilitates the stereo viewing. Okay, the instrument which is used for this purpose, that is called stereoscope, right? So it is going to facilitate the stereo viewing process by looking at the left image with the left eye and the right image with the right eye, right? So left image, okay, so with the left eye and right image with the right eye, okay, so combining those two we are going to get the 3D, right? So it is based on a Porro-Coppos principle that the same light path can be generated in an optical system if a light source is projected onto the image taken by a optical system. Okay, so the principle behind this Porro-Coppos principle is the same light path can be generated in an optical system. Okay, so in an optical system we can generate the same light path if the light source is projected onto the image taken by a optical system. Okay, same image we are going to take now. From there we can take. This is the principle. You need to remember this one. Then coming to the next thing, that is stereoscopic vision is constructed with a stereo pair. Okay, stereo pair means two photos which are taken from the two positions of the same ground, that is called stereo pair, right? So these stereo pair images using the relative orientation or tilt. Relative orientation or tilt at the time of photogrammetry. Okay. Next, stereo viewing allows the human brain to judge and pursue and depth and volume. This with help of this stereo pair, okay, stereo viewing, right? So we can say what is the volume of that, length, breadth, everything we can say, and what is the depth also we can estimate. Okay, 3D representation of the Earth surface resulting in a collection of geomorphic information with a greater accuracy compared to the monoscopic techniques, right? Monoscopy means only one photo. Single photo is called monoscopy. So those two photos, 2, 3 we are taking, and we are going to make into the stereoscopic, and we are going to tell the volume as well as the what is gain, depth also, right? Next thing is stereoscopic vision, right? So in our daily life we are unconsciously perceive and measure depth using our eyes, right? So with our eyes we are going to say what is the objective depth, right? So that we can do in the normal thing. That is due to the binocular vision of the eyes, right? So the perception of depth through binocular vision is referred to a stereoscopic viewing, which means viewing an object from two different locations. This is one location, this is one location. That monoscoping or monocular vision refers to the viewing the surrounding object with only one eye. Monoscopic means only one eye. Okay, stereoscopic means with the two eyes we are going to see, and we are going to assume resolution as a 3D image. From there we are going to tell volume and depth, right? So that depth is perceived primarily based on the relative size of the object. With the relative size we can say, right? If I am taking this particular pen, so I can see with this top, I can see with the bottom. So rays from this side, rays from this side is going to tell what is the height of this much. Let us say I can tell roughly. It may not be what is called exact one, but with approximate thing I can say the height. Okay. So stereoscopic vision. Okay. In the stereoscopic vision, objects are viewed with both eyes at a little distance from each other. Okay. Little distance is there from each other. So approximately 65 mm. It is helps in viewing the objects from two different positions and angles. Thus, stereoscopic vision is obtained. Okay, stereoscopic vision is obtained. Okay, so this is left eye, this is right eye, right? So you can see here from the images, right? So a point A, B I am seeing. Okay, so with the A, the angle difference is phi 2, and with A, right? So the angle difference is phi B, right? So this is phi A here. Okay, so by seeing this, so we can know this height. We can know this height. Okay, so dB, D2, everything we can know, right? So the angle between the lines of sight of two eyes with each object known as the parallaxic angle helps in our brain to determine the relative distance between objects. Relative distance between the object. So lesser parallaxic angle, higher the objective depth, right? So if you are having here, you can see in this figure, right? So if greater angle is there, okay, that is lesser height. If higher angle is there, you can have the lesser angle, parallaxic angle is there, higher the object. That means more height will be there. Okay, that's what we can conclude from here. Next, you can see here, coming to the photogrammetry, from one location A, and we are going to take location B. Okay, location A, we took the same what is called, this is the same ground point. The same ground point will be taken from two positions A and B. The photograph which is taken from the location A, that will be having all these points. Same ground area is going to capture from the point B on this, right? So if you overlap with these two, right? So here we can say what is the height of BD. Okay, height of BD we are going to estimate with help of two photographs. This is called stereoscopic photogrammetry to determine the depth. Okay, next stereoscope. Okay, so here the instrument which are going to use to collect these things are stereoscope, right? A stereoscope is used to in conjunction with two aerial photographs taken from two different positions of the same area with the two different photos, different places we are going to take the photo, and this produces a 3D image. Okay, it is going to produce the 3D image. There are two types of stereoscope. One is lens stereoscope, and second one is the mirror stereoscope. Lens one, mirror one, right? So this lens one will be called as pocket stereoscope, or mirror image is called okay, as is. Next, lens stereoscope has a limited view and therefore restricts the area that can be inspected, where it is in a mirror image. Mirror stereoscopy has wide view and enables much larger viewed area on the stereo pair compared to the lens stereoscope. Mirror image having widely applications, right? Wide applications it is having. The most obvious feature when using a stereoscope is the enhanced vertical relief, right? Enhanced vertical relief, that means vertical height you are going to see. This occurs because of our eyes are only 65 mm apart, but the air photos may be taken hundreds of meters apart. Hence, the difference in exposures is far greater than that of the difference between our eyes, right? Such an exaggeration is also enables small features to become quite apparent and easily viewed from the photograph compared with our mount. Okay, so if you there at the same height on the flight, so you can't see the object which is on the earth, since your eyes are having only 65 mm distance. If two photos are taken from the 200 meters difference, okay, what is called separation. So with the fact that we can use that images very clearly which is on the earth, right? So that's what is going to say here. Okay, and stereoscope consists of a double optical system, right? Lenses, mirrors, and prism, right? So mounted on a rigid frame supported on legs. This way, distance D is fixed and kept the focal distance that the optical systems create a virtual image at infinity, and consequently stereoscopic vision is obtained without eye strain, right? So without any strain we are going to get the thing, right? So here you can see this is the lens stereoscopy and we have the mirror stereoscope, right? So lens stereoscope is not at all recommended, but only we are using the mirror stereoscope, where we have a mirror with alpha mirror. We are going to have the lens here, right? So we have metallic mirrors and everything. Okay, so this may not be helpful for you. Okay, next, stereoscopic plotting instruments. How we are going to plot the stereoscopic instrument? A stereoscope plotting instrument is an optical instrument with alpha of high precision, in which spatial relationship of photographs at the instant exposure is reconstructed, right? So here we are going to reconstruct the photographs of taken from the two things, right? So in such an instrument, the rays from the two photographs are projected and caused to intersect its measuring space from the two photographs are projected and caused to intersect in its space to form a theoretically perfect model of the terrain. Okay, so we are going to intersect both two rays and we are going to get the perfect terrain, right? So a measured mark or visible to the operator is used to measure the stereoscopic model in all three dimensions. With the help of those two photos, we are going to develop the three-dimensional model, right? So the horizontal movement of the measuring mark throughout the model is transmitted onto a plotting pencil, which traces out the map position of the features appearing in the overlap area of two photographs forming the model. Okay, so next, a stereoscopic plotting instrument has four general components, right? So one is projection system to project the photos, then we have viewing system to see that photograph, then we are having measuring system to know the distances and every positions, and we have the tracing system to plot. With the tracing system we have a tracing pencil, right? So next, the multiplex plotter. Among those, we are going to use one type of stereoscopic plotting instrument. Okay, so it is probably the most widely used of any plotting machine, right? So the equipment includes a reduction printer, a set of projectors mounted on a series on a horizontal bar, and a tracing table we are having, which provides both floating mark and the tracing pencil to draw the map. To draw the map, we have a tracing pencil. Next, the reduction printer produces reduced pictures of a small glass plate, the 23 by 23 centimeter size. Thus is going to reduce to 4 centimeters to 4 centimeters on the glass plate, that is called diapositives, right? So it is with the help of this we are going to draw the stereoscopic images. Okay. Next topic, we are going to have the what is called aerial triangulation in the photogrammetry, right? So aerial triangulation in the photogrammetry is a method of determining and calculating the three-dimensional object coordinates by photogrammetric means by using photographs exposed from the different positions covering the same object, right? So this is actually we discussed in the previous thing, right? So with help of different photographs of same area, okay? So if you are since taking a same area, it is taken from different positions, and we are going to develop the 3D, that is called aerial triangulation. With aerial triangulation in the aerial photogrammetry, we might be able to calculate three-dimensional coordinates from the object. Almost any object we are going to calculate the three-dimensional position, right? So we need at least some points with known position that are visible, okay, in at least some of the photographs, right? So that's what we know. To locate something, same points will be seen in the 2-3 photos, then only you can develop these things, right? So these points we call ground control points, or any control points the control points have to be a part of aerial triangulation. With help of ground control points, we are going to develop the three-dimensional coordinates, right? So what are the inputs for aerial triangulation? So we have to use the scanned images. We have to scan whatever images taken from the aerial thing. Then we have camera report, then ground control data or ground control point, right? So where one visible point commonly is there in all photographs, right? Next, radial triangulation. Next thing after aerial triangulation, we have radial triangulation, right? So radial triangulation is a graphical approach and based on the fact that angles measured in a photograph at the isocenter based on the angle measurement located in the middle of the line connecting to the principal point and photo nadir are true horizontal angles and can be used for planimetric triangulation, right? So if you take photo from this isocenter, no? So based on this nadir, what is the angles are there, okay? So these are plane angles. Based on that, we are going to use in the triangulation, okay? So for a vertical photography, the principal point and the photo nadir coincides, okay? So both will be coincide. Therefore, the fiducial center is a suitable approximation of isocenter. If it is taking vertical, no? So all nadir line and isometric line will be coincide, right? So this will be the fiducial center. That means vertical point. Vertical line will be that is the suitable approximation for the isocenter. What is isocenter? No, fiducial center will be the isocenter for that vertical photographic. Okay. So in this approach, the principal points of neighboring photographs are transmitted, and the horizontal rays can then drawn for each photo. Right. Next, these planimetric bundles can be put together along with a strip within a block using two control points. The other points can be defined by multiple intersections. Right. So radial triangulation was used in the 1950s, in which stereo and slotted templates layouts provided a photo control for the mapping purpose. Although this simple technique provided the required accuracy of the day, it was limited by the large physical space required for the layout. Airplane hangars are usually used for this purpose, right? So it is not easy, it requires more physical space. The last topic in this unit, that is mosaics, right? So the vertical photograph looks so much like the ground that a set can be fitted together to form a map-like photograph. That means from the photographs we are going to take the photographs. With the photographs we are going to make the map, right? So map-like photograph of the ground. Such an assembly of getting a series of overlappings of photographs is called mosaics, right? So we are going to add the photos, right, in the series, no, like this. Okay, so that finally we are going to get a map. Okay, so this connection, this series of overlappings is called mosaics, right? So to a varying degree of accuracy, a mosaic is a map substitute, right? So a mosaic can be used as a map substitute, right? So the mosaic has a overall average, right, scale comparable to the scale of the planimetric map. Okay, same scale will be used here. Okay, so since they are taken at a slightly varying altitudes and they contain the tilt, even though it may be tilt, they often do not fit each other very well. Right. So next, it is best to re-photograph them before they are used to bringing them to desired scale and eliminate some of the tilt. Right. So we have to eliminate the tilt. Next, a controlled mosaic is obtained when the photographs are carefully assembled, right, so that the horizontal control points agree with their previously plotted positions. Whatever previous plotted positions are there, we have to see that, right? So next, making controlled mosaics in an art. Okay, it is an art. Okay, control that the arrangement is called a art. A mosaic which is assembled without regarding to any plotted control is called a uncontrolled mosaic, right? So if you have any plotted thing, that is called controlled mosaic. If it is not having any control point, that is called uncontrolled mosaic. Control point means some known point on the given map or a ground one. Okay, the photographs are laid in a sequence, right? We have in the mosaic we need to arrange a sequence as to allow the photo number and the flight number of each photograph to appear on the finished assembly, right? So if you arrange all the photographs now, So it what time, how many, which flight, right? Or first flight or second flight or which flight it is there, and we have to locate the number of photography 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that, right? So during the assembly, this assembly is called as a index mosaic. This assembly is called as a index mosaic. A index mosaics is a form of uncontrolled mosaics. A mosaics which is assembled from a single strip of photograph is called strip mosaic. Okay, single photograph we are having now, those are called strip photograph, right? Sorry, strip mosaic. Next, the photographs used for preparing mosaics may consist of direct contact prints of prints which have all been ratioed, okay, at a given datum scale in an enlarger, or of prints which have been fully rectified and ratioed in a rectifier. Okay. Next, a mosaic differs from the map in the following reference. Right. A mosaic is a composed of series of perspective of the area, whereas map is a single orthographic projection. Here we have so many arrangements of the photos. Right. So, but map is a single one. Paper. Okay. A mosaic contains local relief displacements, tilt distortions, on non-uniform scales, while a map showing the correct horizontal position at a uniform scale. Okay. Next, various features appears as realistic photographic images on a mosaic. Okay. So really you can see what is the color, what is the location, everything. But map will portrayed by the standard symbols on the map. We will see this here the trim. Railway track is there, one symbol will be there. If you take viewing from the photograph, actually you can see the exact what is called railway track or road or anything we can see directly. Okay, so this is all about mosaics. That's all for today. Thank you.